Bless Squad, what's going on with y'all, man? It's your boy, Blessed Applesauce, here to bless y'all with another video here on Blessed to Invest. And today we are here to talk about before we get into it, we're here to talk about something a little bit different on the channel. We're doing a book review, and I don't do, actually I haven't done any book reviews. So make sure you spam the like on this just for me doing something different, doing a book review. And it shows me that y'all really like these book reviews. So if you like it, spam the like button and I'll do more of these. But the book we are getting into today is a motivational book. I don't read a lot of motivational books. I tend to stay around the realm of like education, finance, history, economics, stuff like that, where I feel like when I read it, I'm gaining knowledge from it. When I read a motivational book, it's kind of like fluff and like excitement and like getting you out of your seat and stuff like that. And that's why I stay away from motivational books. But this one book has been on the New York Times bestseller for a very long time. Every time I go into the bookstore, I'm like, okay, everybody loves this book. I'm like, okay, you're singing the praises of this book, cool. And I kind of passed it by. It's been out for a couple years now, but I finally took the time to read it, and it was amazing. This is the David Goggins Can't Hurt Me. This book is phenomenal. Anybody that needs motivation, I definitely recommend this book. What David Goggins goes through, and I have a couple of notes here. Basically, his background. So he grew up in a very normal, I guess like a normal, typical background. Wasn't rich, didn't have a lot going for him. Actually had a lot of things stacked against him. A lot of times in the book, he mentioned that he was a statistic. He should have been a statistic. He should have been like every other person out there. But for some reason, in his mind, he just refused to give up. And that's what this book was about. Training your mind to be stronger, training your mind to be physically fit. And you see that as he goes through his life, challenges that he's done and how he's been able to shape his mind to put out 100%. He talks about in the book where he starts with your brain allows you to do 40% work, 60% of your potential is left untapped, and he explains how he plans to get into that extra 60% that we leave on the table a lot of times. So with this, I do recommend you get the audio version. If people are debating between the audio version or the physical copy, definitely go with the audio version, because in the audio version, he has a lot of sub notes and he is talking with the person that is reading the book. So it'll be like a little side interview. You'll do the first chapter and then it'll be a side interview with David Goggins and the guy that's reading the book. And he'll be going more into depth with the certain situations that were going on in his life that you're not going to get from just reading the physical book. So that was really nice. And it was really cool because it was more like a podcast format. It didn't feel like you were reading a book. The book was really well done. A lot of books that I read, sometimes maybe it's just because I read a lot of history and economics. Sometimes it can be boring reads at times, and you have to sit back, relax, step away to really absorb the information. This was an easy read where you can just read right through it. You're reading somebody's story, so you're sitting on the edge of your seat like, okay, what's going to happen next? Is he going to make it? Is he going to do this? Is he going to do that? So I really like it for that. David Goggins and his ghostwriter, because he did have a ghostwriter for this, were able to put together a very great book, reading-wise, reading comprehension, and a very simple read to understand his life. But go with the audio version. Really like the audio version. You're not going to regret it if you go for the audio version over that physical copy. If you want both, cool, that's fine. I know some people like picking up those physical books, but go for the audio. It feels better. It feels like you're a part of David Goggins' life. He's explaining it to you in more detail, and it just works. So I want to get into a little background of the story itself, with not giving everything away, just kind of those main points that we need to look at. So for the background, he grew up in more of like a poor family, didn't have a rich background. He had a it was like a learning issue through his educational years. And the reason why it was so hard was because of his upbringing. He grew up in a poor background. His family was dealing with a lot of domestic violence, and he was having trouble within the home. And that reflected in his education, where he wasn't able to focus in school. He would get bad grades. He didn't really care. He almost failed a couple classes. Teachers really didn't care about him. He was also dealing with racism throughout his elementary, middle, and high school career. So it was one of those stories where, because I live in Baltimore and we don't have the best public school system. And you see this a lot of times. Children are dealing with abuse at home. They're dealing with neglect. They're dealing with not enough food to eat. And then you see that fall into place. You see that carry over into school, where they're not able to perform as well. And that leads them down a darker path. And that's why he says he would be potentially a statistic. He should be. But he begins to transition. He takes a look at himself and says, okay, I want to make a change. He hasn't done much in his life, and he's like, I want to make a change. He's overweight. But he wants to join the Navy SEALs. He doesn't know where to go. He wants to join. He wants to do something with his life, because college really wasn't much of an option for him. So he ends up reaching out to one guy, and he gives him the opportunity to join the Army. And what happens with that, he is overweight. And he tells him, okay, you need to drop like 50 pounds, 50, 100 pounds. I think the exact number was 120. When you read the book, you'll know exactly how much weight he needed to lose. But it was a ridiculous amount of weight in a very short period of time. And he went on an extreme diet. Like, he wouldn't eat for days, like water, was dropping like 2 or 3 pounds a day. It was absolutely ridiculous. I've never seen somebody drop weight so fast. And this is where I think the audiobook really shines. Because as you're going through that story of him losing weight and the struggles he went through to lose that much weight in a matter of just three months, when you're reading it and then he actually highlights, okay, this is how I was feeling at this point, or let me take it back. Let's jump out the studio, and I'm gonna talk about how I was feeling, what I was doing, who I was interacting with, et cetera, et cetera. So it's just way more detail in that part. So get the audio, man. But that was one of those things where it was just a mental thing. And that's the thing, he's going constantly over this. This is a mental game. Really, anything you can do, you can put your mind to. It really makes you just want to bust through a wall and just be like, yeah, I can get this done. Because I know for me personally, like, this is something I tapped into, like reading this book, this is something I tapped into for me. I've been like super tired. Like, this has been like a really hard week so far, but I'm recording this video. I made sure I hit the gym today. I got all the things I needed to do done. And it just feels like you, instead of having that 40%, there's an extra reserve you can get into, that extra boom, you can get into it. And that's what that book really showed me, is that when you're tired, when you don't feel like it, there's an extra, there's another 50% you can tap into and just go boom, even farther than you expected before. So that is something I really admire from this book, just teaching you how to tap into that. And he takes it even farther after he loses the weight. He gets in and he goes through the Navy SEAL training. And this is going to be a very difficult one where he talks about the Hell Week. And he had to go through 3 Hell Weeks. You're going to get into more detail into the Hell Week as you read the book. But basically, Hell Week is a week of just hell, where it's just a real struggle. And you have to ask the question, do you really want this? How bad do you really want this? Because people are tapping out. They're like, nah, this isn't for me. I'm dropping out. I don't want to do this anymore. And it becomes a mental game of just, okay, how much pain can I endure? How much weight can I carry? How much yelling and screaming can I tolerate? And it becomes a mental game where you have to zone in and say, okay, it's for a week. I got this. I'm going to work hard at this and do what I have to do. So he taps into that again, that mental game. And throughout the book, you're just seeing that. You're seeing the mental game, how strong he is mentally, how the techniques that he uses to tap into his mind so He can get that reserve when you don't think you can go any farther. Broken legs. During Hell Week, he had like a broken foot, broken leg. He's nursing the thing, still going, running miles, swimming, crazy stuff like that. And it's really inspiring to see somebody, just an average guy, didn't have much. He didn't come from a rich family. He didn't come from a healthy family. He didn't come from some type of special education background. Just somebody that had the ability to say, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to get this done. No matter what it is, this is what's going to happen. If I got to get rejected 50 times, I get that one. That's all that matters. If I have to endure pain, I don't care. That's all that matters. So really, it's just a really inspiring story. And the last thing for me that I left on the notes that was really inspiring for me was the 100-mile marathon. Crazy. He got a 100-mile marathon done without any training. He had a 3-day notice to get this done. Yes, he was a Navy SEAL at that point, but the muscles you need, I know this personally, like from playing football to running track, it is two different type of muscles you need to know when you're doing this type of training. And for him to run 100 miles in less than 24 hours or something like that, for him to do that, mind blowing. It's crazy that he was able to do that. And it was just a mind game for him, where read the audiobook. I can't stress to you enough. If you're getting the book, read the audiobook, because he breaks down what he was feeling, the things he was going through. Like it was sweat, it was blood, it was diarrhea that he was dealing with throughout the whole run. And he said, I'm not quitting. 10 miles, I'm not quitting. 20 miles, I'm not quitting. 50 miles, I'm not quitting. 100 miles, I just made it. And throughout that, it just showed how strong he was mentally. And he's still teaching you throughout this book how to make your mind stronger, where people are just too lazy or too weak, or they're just not willing to go that extra mile. And that book is just so motivating, how it teaches you to go the extra mile in your career, in your business, in life, and at a whole. So I definitely recommend this book. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It was a sleeper for me. It was definitely a sleeper for me, because I just don't read motivational books. But if he has any other books, I definitely recommend those, because I'm getting ready to read them next. If he has any other books, I'm going to check those out. And I got to check his story out, if he has like a YouTube channel or something like that, because this book has been very inspiring. I really enjoyed it, and I might have to give it a second read. So definitely check this book out if you have not. And also leave a couple of recommendations down below for books that you like, that you want to read or you have read, so other people in the comments can get inspired to read a couple of your selection. But that's going to wrap it up for today. Make sure you spam a like on this video and also sub down below. And it's been your boy, Blessed Applesauce. Stay blessed. And I'm going to see y'all next time on Blessed to Invest.
Just to see tomorrow is a blessing. Stay prayed up is the message. Everything about a nigga blessed. Everything about a nigga blessed.